Okay, so this video is pretty much a very good summary of the entire premise of everything that I teach. So I titled this today, Why Love Does Not Exist and Why Mutual Love is a Female Nature Fantasy. And the problem is oftentimes men have been convinced of this fantasy as well. So this is why love does not exist, okay? The feeling of love is nothing more than a discrepancy between both people's SMV. Okay, between both people's sexual market value. That is what love is a discrepancy between the two, okay? So I'm even going to show you like a drawing that I made to really illustrate this, but here's what you will find, okay? This is what you will find. The women that you really like or that you really want to be with will not like you back in return, okay? And what you're going to find through the years as you keep dating is the women you don't like as much, okay, or are not as attracted to, or are not into them as much, these will be the ones who desire you and want to date you and want to be with you and want to marry you, okay? So the women that you really like and that you really want to be with won't want you, and the women that you don't necessarily want to be with, these are the ones who will want to be with you, okay? So I'm going to even draw out specifically why this is, but here's what I can tell you. You will never, ever find a situation where the love is mutual, ever. I see guys who are 20 years old trying to find this situation. I see guys who are 30 years old trying to find this same situation. I see guys who are 40 and 50 years old trying to find the same situation. I see guys who are 60 and 70 and 80 years old trying to find this same situation, okay? The feeling of mutual love, it doesn't exist. Most people spend their entire lives chasing this illusion or chasing this fantasy that simply doesn't exist. So here's what I can tell you. This is how the perception of love actually works, okay? So what we're going to do to illustrate this is let's use an attraction scale of 1 to 10 just to make this easy to understand. So what we're going to do here is let's use an attraction scale of 1 to 10 just to make this easy to understand. Okay, this is your SMV. So this is love example number 1. Let's say a guy is dating a woman, okay, and this guy, let's say he views himself as a 7. Okay, so he's like, yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a 7. Like when he looks in the mirror and when he looks at, who he is, and when he looks at, maybe his career or his status or his popularity, or how attractive women perceive him to be, let's say he feels he's about a 7, okay? Now let's say he starts dating a woman and he views her as a 9.5, okay? So this is 2.5 or 2.5 points difference, okay, between the two. In this exact example, the man will fall in love, okay, because he views her as having higher SMV. Now, let's look at example number 2. Let's say, in example number 2 on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say the woman views herself, whether that be her beauty or her SMV or whatever the case may be, doesn't matter. Let's say she views herself, or, based on, let's even say, the attractiveness of the other men who are interested in her. Let's say she comes to the conclusion and she views herself as a 7. But let's say she views the guy that she's dating as a 9.5. In example number 2, the woman will fall in love. So this is why I started off by saying the feeling of love is nothing more than a difference between both people's SMV. The feeling of mutual love does not exist. So most people are chasing this fantasy that does not exist. So this is really important to understand, because with hypergamy, the second that she feels that her SMV is higher than yours, she will just quit talking to you. So this is where guys get this completely wrong. They think, well, maybe if we do enough chemistry building, we can solve this. Maybe if we try to talk it out, our differences in, how we view intimacy or love, we can come together. Maybe if we focus on connection building, maybe if we focus on strength building of our relationship, maybe if we have deeper level conversation. This doesn't work. Nothing makes up for SMV and the difference between the two. This is all it comes down to, okay? So keep this in mind. So you can use whatever word you want instead of discrepancy to help you understand this. Maybe discrepancy isn't the best word for you. Maybe you just want to use the word difference, okay? A difference in SMV. Maybe you want to use the word variation, okay? A variation between both people's SMV. It doesn't matter what word you use. This is the point that I'm trying to get across, okay? I'm trying really hard to do this. So with hypergamy, the second that she feels her SMV is higher, she will just quit talking to you. So you can try to do all these things that you want. You can try to text message her and say, hey, what's going on? You can say, hey, what's wrong? Did I do something? You can try to have a phone call. You can try to talk through it, whatever. The fact is this, she thinks that she has higher dating value than you. So because of that, she's just going to quit talking to you. There's not going to be like a true conversation where the woman will tell you this, but I will, because even if this hurts your feelings, you need to understand this so that way you don't spend the next 20 years of your life trying to achieve something that doesn't actually exist. So now let's move on to this column, okay? As a man, your SMV is not based on just how you look or how much money you make or how tall you are or how high your status or popularity is. A lot of times when you start dating a woman, it's more so based on your body language and your interest level. This is what determines to her how high your dating value is. So this is why women will routinely say that they don't like nice guys. It's because those personality traits make her feel like she can do better. She tells herself, well, he's probably just being this nice because he has to be. So this is why a lot of times lust as a man is your enemy, because what it's actually doing is it's overtly revealing your interest level and your attraction towards her. So if you as a man try to kiss a lot of times, like if you're dating a woman and you're always trying to kiss, or you're initiating a lot of touch, and that touch can be anything, hand holding, anything that signals attraction, okay? Or maybe you're initiating intimacy often, okay? And let's say you're overall just very attracted to her. She thinks that you have lower value dating-wise than she does, or she thinks that you have lower dating value than she does, and she will leave you. So this is how it works. I'm trying to tell you this because if you make these mistakes, you have to understand it doesn't matter if you guys just met. It doesn't matter if this is a long-term girlfriend of multiple years. It doesn't matter if this is your wife. As soon as you start making these mistakes, that signals that she has higher dating value than you, and you're the one in love. Hypergamy is not satisfied, and now she will leave you. So you really have to understand this, because a lot of these situations, when men and women date, once these breakups happen, there's a lot of unspoken things. Like, people don't talk about this stuff or why this happened at all. What happens is the guy just goes, oh, well, that didn't work out. I better, go searching again for somebody else. And a lot of times the woman even is like, wow, I really liked him in the beginning. I don't know why this happened. I don't know why I don't feel attracted to him anymore. So this is what you have to understand. Never under any circumstances ever tell a woman how you feel about her, ever. Never say, I'm in love with you. Never say any of this stuff, okay? Never do this ever, because here's what I can tell you. Most people, okay, this is like the worst narrative that you're going to get, okay? The worst narrative you're going to get is, she'll appreciate it. This is not true. But let's go even deeper, right? Let's say you're a little bit aware of how dating works. There's a lot of people that will say, oh, if you tell a woman your feelings towards her, she will use it against you. This is what they'll say. And she'll use it as leverage verbally. Or people will say it gives her the leverage, okay? Or people will say she's going to look at it as weakness, or she's going to think that you're weak. Now, in my opinion, this is not completely true, okay? Here's what will actually happen. Eventually, she will just stop responding to you, and then you will never hear from her ever again, and then she'll just ghost you. And this could be a woman that you've been seeing for 1 month or 1 year, or sometimes, let's say you're dating for a long-term relationship, or you're even married. This could even be multiple years. Eventually, they'll just withdraw interest. So in a long-term relationship, what will happen is she'll just stop sleeping with you, and then she'll leave. And she'll never tell you any of these things that I just told you. But this is the overarching theme to pretty much everything that I teach. And then what I do is, at every single point of each dating interaction, whether it be the initial stages, the middle stages once you guys start dating for a consistent period of time or long-term relationships. So at all times, what I'm trying to do in all of my teachings is show this example right here, so that way the woman that you're dating views you as a guy who has high dating value. If you like this video, I want you to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.